Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing Along the Beltway Podcast Network. And of course, the podcast network from Boxing Along the Beltway can be heard on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio.com, or on TuneIn, as well as Stitcher.com. So you subscribe to any of those podcast networks, and you can get the Boxing Along the Beltway Podcast Network for free. Excuse me, and all the great content that we have. Some great things going on this coming week, and we're going to recap not only what went on last week, this past Saturday, a big busy day for us in the Beltway, and an overall very successful day in the Beltway for us. And also we will go over the February schedule, which actually starts today, of course, being February the 1st as we record this. The February schedule is very busy as well. Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network is brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain and muscle strain, everything in between, Boxing Along the Beltway recommends Real Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief, you get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief. Real Time Pain Relief, rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And don't forget to go to DeborahSpears.com. She has great weight loss tips. You can do it without dieting, eating real food along the way. Also sells great jewelry on her site. So go to Deborah, Debra Spears.com. And don't forget to go on to the Best Buy and Amazon links on boxonthebeltway.blogspot.com. You can help us out by purchasing your good items through those sites on Boxing Along the Beltway. And don't forget, you can always contact me at Digital25 on Twitter. Now, this past weekend, January 26th, I had a busy day, as we said. Some of it I could not attend. So we're going to start with that. And that's the card, the Sign Nation Sports card that took place at the Waldorf Culture Center in Waldorf, Maryland. And I could not attend that card primarily because I had my wife's birthday, as well as a doubleheader basketball game at Coppin State University in Baltimore. So I could not travel from Baltimore to Waldorf in either way, but also my wife's birthday was in there too, so I was not going to miss that. So Juan Marshall Pro-Am Fight Talk has these following results. And one of the bouts, the main event on the card, was a bout that I thought really shouldn't have happened. And I thought that the young man Filip Stankovic out of Maryland by way of Bulgaria was taking a big chance going up against Vaughn Alexander of St. Louis, Missouri, and it turned out to be a true situation because Stankovic lost that bout by 6-round unanimous decision. According to Juan, the taller Stankovic was landing good combination, so they were set up by his jab, but Alexander was able to slide inside and land some good body shots of his own. Alexander's power looked to be more effective, Juan said, as he pressed the action in round 3 with more great body work. Stankovic looked to be behind as he was reaching to land shots with no success in the 4th round. But with clear signs of being outpowered, Stankovic walked back to his corner after taking more punishment from Alexander in late rounds. John Gradowski scored about 60-54, the judge, and judges Brett Bovell and David Brazzo scored about 59-55. So Stankovic, no longer undefeated. His first pro loss, he's now 4-1, 1 KO. Alexander improves to 13-2 with 8 KOs. So really tough loss for Stankovic. But I knew going in because Stankovic had not fought anybody with the experience that Vaughn Alexander had, and I was kind of worried about that bout to begin with. So that worry became true. So that was the main event. The co-feature, if Jerry Slug Forrest was actually a Beltway boxer, in other words, he was from this area, this would be, according to Juan, a good first candidate for Beltway boxing knockout of the year. Jerry Slug Forrest scored a 3rd-round knockout over Lamont Two Smooth Capers of Torreana, Pennsylvania, who's normally not a heavyweight. He usually is a cruiserweight and sometimes a light heavy. So he may have just been overpowered in this situation. This bout was scheduled for 8 rounds, but Jerry Forrest landed a crushing right hand to knock out Capers well before he hit the canvas in the 3rd round. Referee Brent Bovell waved the bout off with 2:56 of the 3rd. And again, if Forrest was actually from the Beltway, this would have been the first candidate for knockout of the year. As Forrest now improves to 22-2 with 18 KOs. Lamont Capers is 9-13-5 with 1 KO. And like I said, normally Capers does not get knocked out in that manner, and especially against Beltway boxers, but that happened there. So congratulations to Jerry Slug Forrest. Meanwhile, in a bout that, according to Juan, might be our first candidate for Beltway boxing bout of the year, which is going to be interesting. We'll tell you why in a moment. The sexy Albanian, Yank Plana, out of Hagerstown, Maryland, he won a 6-round unanimous decision over Ashton the Goon Sykes of now Silver Spring, Maryland. Plana started the round off with his hands down style that he's known for, according to Juan. He threw some looping right hands that tried to connect on Sykes, but Sykes made him pay, as he landed a hard right hook to send Plana to the canvas at the sound of the bell to end round 1. So right at the bell, Plana got knocked down by Sykes. Sykes' high guard defense protected him from the looping shots as he tried to land counter punches, and during the middle rounds, both fighters found it hard to find their range. Plana made his adjustments in the 5th round. He landed a hard right hand that made Sykes take a knee for the 8th count. Sykes looked to be in trouble, with Plana coming forward to close the round. Plana finished out the final round with some good body work and some good headshots. Judge Kenny Chevalier and Brent Bovell, they both scored about 57-55. John Gradowski had a 58-54. And so this might be a candidate for Beltway Boxing Bout of the Year early. And again, Ashton Sykes was in last year, 2018's Beltway Boxing Bout of the Year against Donald Wallace at the Live Casino in Hanover last year. So be back-to-back for Sykes. Unfortunately, he lost both of them. Plana's now 3-0 with 1 KO, and Sykes is 2-3. Baltimore, Maryland's Destiny Day Owens, she opened up her professional career. She won a 4-round split decision over Michelle Nogue of Chesapeake, Virginia. Nogue is out of the Coast Guard, by the way. Both ladies were feeling each other out in the early part of the bout, according to Juan. Both ladies didn't connect on a lot of shots they were trying to land, but in round 3, things seemed to change. The action picked up. Punches looked a little bit faster, and they landed looping shots from time to time on each other. Dave Brazlow scored the bout for Nogue at 39-37, but judges Bovell and Gradowski scored about 39-37 and 40-36 for Destiny Day Owens. Makes her pro debut a successful one. Michelle Nogue was also making her pro debut on this card. In the 4-round junior middleweight bout, Jonathan Burrs, the Lion King out of Frederick, Maryland, he defeated the debuting Justin Sykes, who's the older brother of Ashton Sykes, beat him by a 4-round unanimous decision. Burrs, according to Juan, started the bout with as the more active fighter, he landed shots to the head and body of Sykes. Sykes landed a counter right hand that staggered Burrs, but Burrs was able to recover and continue to land some solid jabs as Sykes did his best to counter. Final round, both fighters were trying to land some heavy shots, but both came up short from connecting. No word on the scores, but Jonathan Burrs is now 2-1, and again, Justin Sykes falls in his pro debut. And in the first bout of the night, Baltimore, Maryland's Mac Allison, Pappy Allison IV, he scored a 4-round unanimous decision victory over Darrell Harris of Sarasota, Florida. Opening round had Allison coming forward and using his jab to go to the body of Harris, and then Harris started to counter Allison in the second round, but Allison kept coming forward, landing shots while cutting off the ring to end the round strong. Allison wasn't as aggressive in the 3rd round, but he came out in the final round, throwing some hard shots to the head and the body of Harris. Harris landed a few head shots of his own as the two fighters finished round 4 going blow for blow. Judge Kenny Chevalier scored about 39-37. Judges Dave Brazlow, John Gradowski scored about 40-36. Allison is now 9-2-1, 7 KOs. Harris falls to 1-9-1, 1 KO. So that's the card from the Waldorf Culture Center. My thanks to Brian Dillon, who not only did the matchmaking duties, he covered for me as the ring announcer for the bout, and I do appreciate that, and I thank him for that. My apologies for not being able to make it, but again, my wife's birthday, especially my wife's birthday, was a big key. And actually, I didn't get out of COP until almost 8 o'clock, so I would have missed the card anyway. So that's the way that goes. So that was a good first card to start off 2019 here in the Beltway. But some other action took place throughout the country and around the world, actually. First of all, in Brooklyn, New York at Barclays Center, this is on the Keith Thurman Josefino Ortiz card. Capitol Heights, Maryland super lightweight Antoine Russell, he scored a 2nd round TKO over Roberto R15 Almazan of Brownsville, Texas. Russell knocked down Almazan both in the first and the second round, for the bout was stopped at 59 seconds of the second round. Russell continues his perfect streak. He's now 8-0, all 8 wins by KO, and Almazan falls to 7-9 with 2 KOs. And this bout, by the way, was shown on FS1. Also on that card, Landover, Maryland welterweight Tariq IGB Irby. IGB Irby won a 4-round unanimous decision over Jonathan Figueroa of Hartford, Connecticut. No real details on the card, but Irby was able to win by scores of 40-36, and 39-37 twice. He's now 6-0 with 2 KOs, while Figueroa is 2-2 with 1 KO. And Clarksburg, Maryland middleweight Mark Salas Duncan, he stopped Daniel Garcia Flores of Albuquerque, New Mexico by 3rd round TKO. Time of the stoppage was 1:15. Duncan is 3-0. All 3 of his wins by KO, and Garcia Flores is 0-3. And this result from Mexico, Tijuana, Mexico, as a matter of fact, the Auditorio Municipal of Tijuana, Mexico. Musin the Spartan Kaysen. He is out of Baltimore, Maryland, Las Vegas, Nevada. Of course, he's the younger brother of former undisputed heavyweight champion Hasim Rahman, one of our honorable mentions for Rookie of the Year. He scored a first-round knockout over Manuel Emanuelon Duran of Mexicali, Baja California, Mexico. No word on the time of the knockout, but another good win for Kaysen, who's now 4-0, 2 KOs, and Duran falls to 2-11 with 2 KOs. So that is the recap from last week. Again, a big, very successful weekend for Beltway boxers this past week. Now we take a look at February's schedule, and as we look at February's schedule, a lot of updates throughout the schedule. We're going to give you some updates as we go along through this situation. Actually, everything starts tonight as we record this, Friday, February the 1st, at the Main Street Armory in Rochester, New York. A couple Beltway boxers will be on that card. Dominic Lights Out Wade at Largo, Maryland. He returned to action for the first time since that loss to Gennady Golovkin back in April of 2016. Takes on veteran Martin Fidel El Terrible Rios of Pereira La Pampa, Argentina. That bout is scheduled for 8 rounds. Now, Wade is 18-1, 12 KOs. Rios is 23-18-4 with 13 KOs. And he looks to rebound from an 8-round split decision over lost to Jürgen Dobestein, and that was on August 31st in West Palm Beach, Florida. Now, Wade hit the scales at 173, so he's going to be closer to super middleweight, almost light heavyweight going into this bout. Rios arrived late to the weigh-in, so no word on his weights in that situation. Also on the card, 7 Maryland heavyweight Sherman the Tank Artist. He'll be in a 4-round contest against Ronnie Hines of Cleveland, Ohio. Artist is 3-3. He'll look to break a 2-bout losing streak, including a 2nd-round TKO loss to Clayton Laurent Jr. That was on September 8th in Brooklyn, New York. Hines is 3-0, 3 KOs. He scored first-round knockouts in all 3 of his bouts. Now, Artist came in at 230.6 pounds, while Hines weighed in at 231.2 pounds. So that is going to be tonight at the Main Street Armory in Rochester, New York. The card is the main event on that bout. These are both underbouts, so they're not going to be on televised, but it's scheduled to be a part of a Showbox card on Showtime here tonight. Now on Friday, February the 8th at the Dorton Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina, Odenton, Maryland super welterweight Maurice M3 Winslow III. He'll be in a 4-round bout against an opponent to be determined. Winslow is 1-0, 1 KO. He stopped Alberto Delgado in the 2nd round back on September 22nd at the A.C. Jordan Arena at Bowie State University in Bowie, Maryland. Winslow's originally from Georgia and is fought in the Carolinas, and he's now fighting in this area. He's training over at Overton Fitness, where Christian and Tony Jeter are, and that's where he's training right now, according to what I've heard. So he will be involved in this card on September 22nd. I'm sorry, on Friday, February the 8th from Dorton Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. Of course, the big event is scheduled to be on Saturday, February the 9th. And that's going to be the now Dignity Health Sports Park. It used to be the StubHub Center, but it's the Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California. And that's where Baltimore, Maryland's Gervonta Tank Davis, he'll be defending his WBA Super Featherweight Championship against a late substitution. His name, Hugo Cuatito Ruiz of Glendora, California, by way of Mexico. Now, earlier in the week, we got word that former world champion Abner Mares, he suffered an elbow injury during a sparring session in training, and he had to pull out of this contest. Mares has had soreness in his elbow during his last two bouts, but this time he just couldn't overcome the pain. So, tough break. And Hugo Cuatito Ruiz, who is 39-4, 33 KOs, he's a former WBC super bantamweight champion, and he should really be in nice shape for this bout. No question about that, because he just fought on January 19th. That card that was between Manny Pacquiao and Adrian Broner. He was on that card in Las Vegas. He won a 10-round unanimous decision over Alberto Guevara. Now, ironically, Ruiz had moved up to featherweight for that contest. He's a former super bantamweight champion, and the bout was originally scheduled to be a title shot against the interim WBA featherweight champion Jack Topora out of the Philippines. However, Topora did not make the weight. He caused him to lose the title on the scales, and the bout was canceled, and Guevara was coming in as a late sub, much like what Ruiz is going to be doing against Gervonta Davis. Davis, of course, 20-0, 19 KOs. He'll make the first defense of his WBA crown that he won on April 21st in Brooklyn, New York, when he knocked out Jesus Cuellar in the third round. So this one should be interesting. Of course, not being a super featherweight, Ruiz is not ranked among the top 15 in any of the categories, but he's ranked 10th in the world by one of the major governing bodies as a featherweight. So this one should be very interesting. We'll have to see what's going on with that. Again, Ruiz has a major height advantage over Davis going in. Ruiz is 5'9", Davis is 5'4". So I don't know if Davis has fought anybody that tall in comparison. So we'll have to wait and see. That should be interesting. No question about that. So once again, that is Saturday, February the 9th from the Dignity Health Sports Park, formerly the StubHub Center. And that'll be in Carson, California. The bout, by the way, will be shown on Showtime. Now, also on that card will be Davis's gym mate out of the Upton Boxing Gym. That's Lorenzo Truck Simpson. He'll be in a 4-round bout against Janelle Christmas of Conway, Arkansas. Simpson made his pro debut. He's 1-0-1 KO, and he knocked out DeAndre West on December 8th in Bowie, Maryland. That was at AC Jordan Arena once again at Bowie State. Meanwhile, Christmas also made his pro debut on a different card, the September 22nd card at Bowie State University. He lost by second round TKO to Mark Duncan. So that is Saturday, February the 9th from the Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California. Now, closer to home, but unfortunately not in the Beltway, this will be on Saturday, February the 9th at the Masonic Temple in Norfolk, Virginia. This will be a Ponytail Promotions and Rising Star Promotions card. Rising Star Promotions is run by Thomas Cornflake Lamanna. And a number of Beltway boxers on that card. Jamal Dyer will be on the show out of Baltimore, the lightweight. He'll be in a 6-round contest, and he just named his opponent, and his opponent is Darrell Harris out of Sarasota, Florida, the guy who just fought January 26th in Waldorf and lost to Mac Allison IV. Dyer is 7-1, 5 KOs. He comes off a first-round TKO victory over Jesse Carradine. That was on October 27th, excuse me, at Rose Quartz Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. DC welterweight Lamont White, who was scheduled to be on the card in Waldorf, his bout against Matt Murphy got scratched. He'll be in a 6-round contest against Nahir Albright of Sicklerville, New Jersey. White is 1-16, 1 KO. He last fought on December 15th, lost a 4-round unanimous decision to Rashad Kilpatrick. That was at Tyson's Playground in Vienna, Virginia. Albright is 4-1, 1 KO. He won a 4-round unanimous decision in his last outing against Glenford Nicky on September 8th in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So that's a quick update on that one. Darrell Harris just got named as the opponent for Jamal Dyer. Another big bout will come to us through the belt on the Beltway schedule. That'll be on Friday, February 15th, and that'll be at the Kansas Star Arena in Mulvane, Kansas. Now that's going to be a showbox card, and the main event on that card will be our very own Forestville, Maryland welterweight Michael the Professor Fox. He'll be in a 10-round bout against a guy known as, you're going to love this name, the Descendant of Tamerlane. His name is Shojahan Ergashev. He's originally from Uzbekistan, now fights out of Detroit, Michigan. Bout once again will headline a ShoBox card on Showtime. Now, this has got to be the toughest bout thus far for Michael Fox. And this is a guy who's been one of our prospects of the years in the past. He was right up there among the boxers of the year in 2018. 19-0, 5 KOs, coming off a second-round TKO over Gonzalo Carlos Dayera that was on December 8th at the AC Jordan Arena at Bowie State University. But he faces a guy in Ergashev who is 15-0 with 14 wins by KO. He's fought some pretty good people. One of the people he has fought was a guy named Sonny Fredrickson, who was undefeated going in. He knocked him out. This is tough. Ergashev scored back-to-back first-round knockouts in his last 2 contests. He's a former WBA International Super Lightweight champion. I've called for the last year or so that I've said that Michael Fox is right now the most technically sound boxer coming out of the Beltway, pound for pound. It looks like on paper anyway, he's going to need every bit of that going up against Ergashev. If Ergashev gets in, it could be trouble. If he gets inside on Fox, he's in trouble. I mean, I'm going to assume, and from what I've seen, the pictures I've seen of Ergashev, I think it's true that, like just about every other boxer that Fox faces, he'll have the height advantage. He's going to need to use that. He's going to need to use that long reach against Ergashev if he expects to win this one. If he wins this one, and like I've said this when this bout was first announced, we talked about it. That's going to be a major feather in the cap for Michael Fox, and it could lead to a legitimate title shot in the near future. This is a big one for him. This is definitely his biggest bout as a pro, and it will be his toughest bout on paper anyway, as a pro. So that's Michael Professor Fox taking on Shohjan Ergashev, the descendant of Tamerlane. That'll be on Friday, February the 15th, from the Kansas Star Arena in Mulvane, Kansas. It'll be a main event bout on ShoBox on Showtime. So best wishes, of course, to Michael Professor Fox. We moved to Saturday, February the 16th at the Mountaineer Casino Resort in New Cumberland, West Virginia. And that card will mark the return of DC middleweight now, Dusty Hernandez Harrison. He's scheduled to be in a 6-round bout against an opponent to be named. Harrison, 30-0-1 with 16 KOs, has not fought since winning a 10-round unanimous decision over Thomas LaManna back in September 2016 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We've had him try to get a couple bouts here in this area. This hasn't worked, but this is always a big one because he is making his return. It'll be in a 6-round contest at the Mountaineer Casino Resort in New Cumberland, West Virginia. Meanwhile, Saturday, February 16th, of course, is the start of the 2019 Washington Golden Gloves Tournament. And that's always a big thing because we always try to find out now who is next coming out of the amateurs to the pros. In just a moment, we'll give you the full schedule for the entire Golden Gloves. We'll give you that in just a moment. Just want to finish up the whole Beltway schedule. And actually, the last event on the Beltway schedule takes place on Saturday, February 23rd at a place called the Met Philadelphia in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Never heard of this place. I don't know if it's a new facility or a renamed facility. I'm not sure, but it's called the Met Philadelphia in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And that's where Baltimore welterweight Malik Iceman Hawkins, he'll be in an 8-round contest against Gledwin Ortiz of the Bronx, New York. Now, this could be interesting as well. Hawkins is 13-0, 19 KOs. He's coming off a 10-round unanimous decision over Raymond Serrano. That was back on March 30th at the Fillmore in Philadelphia. Ortiz is 6-2 with 5 KOs. He last fought on November 16th, scored a first-round knockout over Kieran Hooks on November 16th, as I said, at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. Now, here's where it gets kind of interesting here. Ortiz is 2-0 with 2 knockouts against Beltway boxers. Back on October 18th, this past year, at the Mayflower Hotel in Washington, D.C., and that was on that alarm.com card that, as I say all the time, no presses are allowed, no fans are allowed for that event. Ortiz scored a 3rd-round knockout over Zarifbek Triple Z Nishinbayev, and that was an interesting situation there. But way back in July of 2015, this was at the Horseshoe Casino in Baltimore, and we actually actually called this card here on the Beltway Boxing Podcast Network. Ortiz knocked out J.C. Thompson in the first round back in July of 2015. So this is gonna be interesting again. But in all honesty, Hawkins is at a much different level, much higher level than both Nishinbayev and Thompson are. So it could be a lot tougher for him against Gledwin Ortiz, but Ortiz has the record against Beltway boxers, so we'll see what's going on. So that once again, that'll be on Saturday, February the 23rd, and that'll be from the Met Philadelphia in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So that's the February schedule. And of course, everything's changing and may have some bouts added. We'll keep you updated, of course, right here on Boxing on the Beltway. Now, as far as the Golden Gloves concerned, the 2019 Washington Golden Gloves tournament takes place starting on Saturday, February 16th, as we said. Now, I want to make this announcement. Saturday, February 2nd, which is tomorrow as we record this, it'll be the final registration for the Golden Glove. That includes a physical exam. That'll take place at the Hillcrest Bingo Hall. That's located at 4104 23rd Parkway in Hillcrest Heights, Maryland. Once again, the registration will include a physical exam, and registration begins at 9 a.m. Please be on time. Now, I know the weather kind of crazy right now as we record this. It is snowing outside just a little bit, but Saturday, February the 2nd, Hillcrest Bingo Hall, 4104 23rd Parkway, Hillcrest Heights, Maryland. That's the final registration for the Washington Golden Gloves. Now, once again, all the Washington Golden Gloves events will take place at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. For those who do not know where that is located at 6336 Rosecroft Drive in Fort Washington, Maryland. Very easy to get to. If you get on the Wilson Bridge, you've gone too far. Or haven't gone far enough if you're coming from the other way. But that's where it is. Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland, but now outstanding event location for Beltway boxing, both pro and amateur. So once again, it begins at Saturday, February 16th with preliminary competition, and the preliminary competition will continue on Saturday, February 23rd, and then on Saturday, March the 2nd. The tournament semifinals for the Golden Gloves will be on Saturday, March 9th and Saturday, March 23rd. Once again, that's the semifinals will be on Saturday, March 9th and Saturday, March 23rd. The Washington Golden Gloves Championship will take place on Saturday, April the 6th. We plan to have live blow-by-blow coverage of that. Once again, that's Saturday, April 6th at the Washington Golden Gloves Championship at Rosecroft Raceway. Now, the regional Golden Gloves, that matches the winners from D.C., Maryland, and Delaware. They'll take on the winners from Virginia and North Carolina. That'll take place on Saturday, April the 27th. Once again, that's Saturday, April 27th. So once again, the Washington Championship is Saturday, April 6th. The regional titles will be Saturday, April the 27th. All the Golden Gloves events begin at 7:30. I think the preliminary events will cost $20 for everyone. No word yet on what the prices are for the Washington Championship and the Regional Championship, or the semifinals for that matter. So if you want more information on the Golden Gloves, you call 301-843-6165. Once again, that number, 301-843-6165. So that's the Golden Glove situation. Once when we start Saturday, February the 16th at 7:30 p.m. All events take place 7:30 p.m. All events take place at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. And again, this is one of our premier tournaments in the area, and it's always great to go because you always try to find out who is next in this business. I mean, you've got some really quality amateurs who are on the verge of turning pro, and it'll be interesting to see where they go after this is over with. So we'll see what happens. Now, finally, one other quick note. Just found out that the Jared Hurd Arislani Lara bout from April 7th has received another award. The Boxing Writers Association of America has named this bout the Bout of the Year. And that adds on to what ESPN has said and the Sporting News. And that is interesting. I'm curious to see where Ring is, because Ring's year-end review should be coming out pretty good. And again, had it not been in Las Vegas, it had been in the Beltway, it would have gotten our vote too, more than likely. But such it was voted by the Boxing Writers Association of America as the bout of the year for 2018. And again, it definitely deserves it. It was an outstanding bout. Jarrett Hurd, as we talked about, finished like a champion. Arislani Lara fought like a champion, and it was a great bout all the way around. So congratulations once again to both Jarrett Hurd and Arislani Lara, the 2018 bout of the year by the Boxing Writers Association of America. Well, that would do it for another edition of Beltway Boxing News and Notes. Once again, Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network, brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on. The pain is gone in real time. And by DeborahSpears.com, great weight loss tips and great jewelry on Deborah, DEBRA Spears.com.